Hi, this is Lisa, Paper Grace, with another video for Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft. Today I'm showing the new collection of steampunk gelatos. Now this is a great new collection because it has two regular gelatos and two metallic gelatos. The colors in this collection are cinnamon, black cherry, iced chai, and iced coffee. These colors are really great together. And it's nice having two regular gelatos and two metallic gelatos. These colors are really fabulous together. I kind of think of them as earthy, but they're really great colors. I'm also going to be using these today with a Winnie and Walter stamp set called The Big, the Bold, and You. These are really fantastic stamps, and I love that they have big, beautiful, bold stamps and then also smaller ones that can be used together. Now this technique that I'm showing today has been seen a lot in the watercolor world, but I don't know that I've ever seen it done with gelato, so I wanted to show that you could do this with gelatos. So this is another thing that you can do with your gelatos. Now all I've done is I've already prepped my stamp press by putting the stamps where I want them on the stamp press, and I'm going to be heat embossing with white embossing powder. So I'm using watercolor paper. I've just put down some painter's tape, nothing fancy. I'm embossing with the white embossing powder. I'm shaking off the excess onto actually, I think I've used this typing paper or copy paper a couple times before, shaking off the excess, and I'm going to heat set it. I am using the rough side of, sometimes you've got the watercolor paper with a rough side and a smooth side. I'm using the rough side because I like having that texture. So I've got a narrow stamp block here. So all I've done is I've scribbled on the gelato onto my stamp block. Just scribbled it on, sprayed it with my mister from the misting tool set, and just scribbled on the gelato, misted it, and I'm pressing down pretty heavily, but you don't have to be heavy, but I just wanted to make sure that the color really went onto that paper really well. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't expect perfection. And the thing is that you can move this any way that you want to, and you can use your heat tool to move it around. It's one of those things that, you're going to get different results each and every time, and that's what I like about this. So the first color that I used was the black cherry. This is the cinnamon, and what's fun about this is that what you see, it looks kind of brownish. It turns out looking kind of reddish, and I love that. This color is so unpredictable, and I think that at first I thought I really was going to like the black cherry the best. I think I kind of like the cinnamon, and look how on this it looks kind of like it's just one line. It really works into the black cherry purple color a little bit, and it's kind of fun. Now the metallics kind of gave me a little bit of trouble, but what I liked is that even though it comes out in small crumbs, work it in with your finger onto the block, and then it gets really creamy, and you just kind of blend it onto the block itself. And as you can see here, it works just like the other gelatos. It's just the nature of the metallic, I believe. And then it works just like anything else. You spritz it with the water, and you get the same results as the other. So no problem whatsoever. And so I spritzed it, push it onto the paper, and you get that beautiful metallic look. This is the iced chai. And I just wipe it off in between so that way I don't get the mix of colors onto the block. Once it's on the paper, it's another story. Now we got the iced coffee. And lift off. Now I put this disclaimer on here, excuse me, because you can either let it air dry or you can let it heat dry. I didn't let it heat dry a lot. I did a little bit, but only because I wanted the colors to move a little bit. Now, the other thing I'm doing is I'm trying to get some of the color to lift off of the sentiment, and I'm doing that just with a small paintbrush, nothing fancy, paintbrush and a little bit of water, but I just wanted to get some of that color to lift off of the sentiment so you can see a little bit more clearly. And then this is the fun part. You just pull off the painter's tape. And I'm just using an old piece of corrugated packaging. I don't have anything fancy here. It's just cardboard. I'm just pulling the painter's tape off, and you get those really nice clean edges. Now this piece of watercolor paper was cut actually to A2 size, so it's 5.5 by 4.25. I wanted it to be smaller than the card front though, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down because I wanted the size of this to be smaller than my card front, so that way you could see the texture of this popped up just a tiny bit away from the card front itself, or excuse me, the card base itself. So that's why I went ahead and cut off a 1/4 inch all the way around this as well. But what's cool is that even I'm going to go ahead and use some very, very thin foam squares because I don't want it to have too much dimension. I just wanted it to have a tiny, tiny little bit. But that's what's nice. These Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L has these thin foam squares, and I love these things. I mean, I think people kind of sometimes overdo dimension, but with these thin ones, these are fabulous. So you get that little bit of a dimension. The paper is already thick enough being watercolor paper, but with these thin foam squares, which I use a lot of, because the paper is just, it still has that little bit of a warp to it. Not a lot by having it taped down, but you get that little bit of a dimension, and then it's up on top of that thick cardstock, and it just looks fabulous with the metallics and the different colors. Kind of looks like a desert sunset in a way. It's really, really pretty. I love this. I hate to call it a simple card because it's really not, but you get all those watercolors blended with that beautiful sentiment. It's such a pretty card, and I love how it turned out with these new steampunk gelatos. I hope you like how the technique turned out, and I hope you'll give it a try with your own gelatos. Thanks a lot for watching today, and I hope that you'll subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and try it yourself. Thanks a lot for watching today, and see you soon.